start forming their lives along with their professional lives. So this is a deviation from what she was talking about before, because what she was talking about before was that the potential suitor had to own the bus or own his own business or some sort of extraordinary means of income. And then after that, she was directing women to freeze their eggs and wait until some extraordinary date past the normal waiting period for a reasonable person to want to have children, i.e. geriatric pregnancy. Both bad advice. Both of which were bad advice. Now all of a sudden she's swinging around and she's agreeing to what we all have been saying, which is to have a sensible point of view and to look at things like the men in the manosphere have been talking about from the jump, which is to find someone who is reasonable to build your life with. Start off low together and build together. Like people used to do. Like traditionally was the plan. Like our parents and grandparents did. But she took a position of a modern woman and she downplayed everything that black men have been talking about, everything that Kevin Samuels was talking about, everything that every man in this sphere has been talking about, BGS, everybody, all the big names in this sphere has been talking about. And now she swings back around, and now she says that, ladies, you better get that MRS degree. What has happened? What has happened? Let's take a listen to what she has to say. You know, I am shocked. I mean, I must know what has happened. Did someone take her off and sit her down and have a long talk with her and let her drink the Kool-Aid, which would make her more malleable and more receptive to logic and reason? Something must have happened. I must know. Let's cue up the footage. Let's take a listen from the lips of the demon herself.
Normally, I dedicate my sidebar commentary to a topic from today's show. However, special circumstances warrant special considerations. And viewers, I need you to know I hear you and I see you. Social media commenters, I see you too. And I do want to make just a few points of clarification. My suggestion that women simultaneously pursue our MRS degrees alongside our bachelor's, JD's, and MBA degrees is not for universal consumption. As I said in my original take, and I'm going to reiterate here, this is exclusively for black women who, in the deepest corners of their minds and hearts, know that getting married and creating a traditional nuclear family is one of...
Nuclear? Is this what it has come to from the most educated? Nuclear is not the term. It's nuclear. Nuclear family. Nuclear came about from the dumb president from the Republican side, Junior Bush. It's not nuclear, it's nuclear. All right? And that that hairdo is looking a bit frazzled. She looks like she's had a bad night. Looks like she had a tough time wrestling with this commentary that she was going to put out because it goes against everything in her soul. Let's continue.
Their topmost priorities for those women and those women only. My advice stands because it is numerically factual that during your pursuit of higher learning, you will be in a captive environment with the highest number of men that stand in equal educational and presumably economic and family value positioning. And I know that during these conversations, people understandably like to make this about me and my personal life and choices. I do get it, because when you lead these conversations, people are going to look at your personal example. The issue here is that I'm going to be just 100% honest with y'all and vulnerable. I am not a reliable measure of the personal desires of most educated black women in America today. I said it. And I know this to be true because I am in deep connection and sisterhood with countless educated black women. And based on 20 plus years of deep dialogue with these women everywhere, from the South, the West Coast, DMV, and New York tri-state areas, I know for sure that I am an outlier.
You are a failure. Say it. You are a failure. Don't sugarcoat it. Say it, and say it with conviction. You are a failure. You have chosen to be a failure. You have chosen not to listen to reason. Now you are trying to use the logic and reason that has been forced upon you by those of us who have been trying to get you to listen, to prevent you from becoming a cat lady. You are trying to put our message out to these women and make it your own. But you need to say that it is not your message. It is not your message. These numbers are not your numbers. This is not coming from you. This has never come from you. Your mind is ragged. It always has been, and it still is. Your mind is too raggedy to have formulated this type of thinking. So I would like for you to be honest when you put forth this path out of bondage for these young ladies. Be honest and tell them that it is not your own message. Let's continue.
I am one of the most relentlessly ambitious people you will ever meet, black or white, man or woman. And if God descended from the heavens and he made me choose between my high octane career that is rooted in impact and power and really all consuming, or having a husband and children under a more traditional nuclear model, I would choose my career.
My goodness. Did you hear that? I hope that all you gentlemen and ladies heard that. If God descended from the heavens, she would defy him for the silver, the 30 pieces of silver. She would defy him for. She would defy peace. She would throw peace to the four winds so that she could have a high octane career, so that she could burn herself on both ends, so that she could compete with the sisterhood, so that she could compete with men, so that she could, I'm better than you for the rest of her days until she's used up and burned up like a struck match. No one, not even God himself, can tell her otherwise. Let that be a lesson to you guys. You cannot change these black women. You cannot change them. You cannot argue with them. You cannot reason with them. The only thing that you can do is leave. Leave. Turn your back. Walk away and make something better with something else. Because this face is the face of disaster. You cannot lead someone who does not want to be led. And that is the face of a person who does not want to be led. Listen closely, gentlemen.
And I don't say that lightly because in many ways, y'all should know I have really made that choice. And I know from lived experience that most women, even the most ambitious ones, the ones with the Ivy League PhDs, the big law firm partnerships, and the medical doctors are not desirous of my choice. Most women, even the most educated, high-earning ones, they want to be married, and they do want to have children in a more conventional way than I have.
Look, the ones who are the most educated from every other country in the world want to be married, except for y'all. Black women don't want to be married. They want the money, they want everything else, and they don't want us. Because having us means that they are in bondage. Okay? I want you to realize this, because that's what they equate us to, is a taskmaster. That's what they equate us to. The person holding the whip, the person handing out the tasks, the person keeping them from doing what they want to do, keeping them from freedom, basically keeping them from being able to go out and chase penis. That's what it comes down to, because they can do whatever they want to with you, except for chase penis. That's the only thing they can't do with impunity. All right? So, the frustration that you hear in her voice with saying what she has to say about finally trying to say that I can't have it all is refreshing, I must say. It is refreshing that she finally gets that she can't have it all, that they cannot have it all, and most of all, that no matter what you do, no matter how much education you get, no matter how much money you get, you'll never be a man. You know, we saw this with Brittany Reiner, and every time on Club Shay Shay she was talking about, well, she was equating her body count to what a man's body count is, and everything that she did was, well, I did it because a man did it. Well, if a man can have 35, women on his body count, then a man, I should be able to have it. Well, we all know that a woman can't be a man, but they don't know that they can't be us and that they shouldn't try to be us. But they continue to try. See, this is like a Pandora's box. All of this information is like a Pandora's box for them. They've opened this box and they are privy to all of this information, yet this information stings, it burns. They feel like I should be able to do it too. They're just like little girls. I should be able to have that too. I should be able to do it too. Why can't I do it? Why can't I do what he does? It's just like being on the playground again. That's what you hear. If you listen closely, that's what you hear in these grown women. The same rhetoric. And if you listen to this woman, you'll hear the same thing.
Chosen. And that is why I am talking to those women in particular, and I am targeting this advice to women that are young enough to do something about it on the front end. No way and no how do I believe that black women's worth is dependent on being married or pushing out some man's big-headed baby.
Here we go. Here we go. I knew she couldn't stay on task. I knew she couldn't stay on task. On one point, she's saying, get the MRS degree and get your man, get married, have that good life. But now she's saying, I'm not relegating you down to having some man's big-headed baby. See? The disgust, the disdain for having that baby. Herein lies the very reason for the ultra high numbers of abortions, which they blame on black men. But they want the good life. And you can't have the good life with a big-headed baby, right? A big-headed baby that you don't want. That you only want to put off the accountability for on the man, not on yourself. When you control who has the ability to have sex with you. But they always say, I can't have a baby without you. They always put that totally on you. It's always the most accountability goes off on the man, but you hear out of her own mouth the disdain for the entire process. But yet, on the other end of the argument, they're always talking about, I should be able to have as many bodies as I want. As I climb the corporate ladder, I should be able to have as many bodies and do all of this living just like I'm a man, even though I'm not a man. And I shouldn't have to crank out any big-headed babies. You heard that, right? Here we go.
Of course, we have tremendous value in this world beyond our roles as wives and mother, and only somebody very ignorant to my full body of work or otherwise disingenuous would come to any other conclusion. Now, of course, women can still find love and, yes, even get married after college or after 40, or I'm going to mess y'all up, after 60. And of course, black women can be mothers in a litany of ways, including with partners they meet later in life, single mothers by choice, and so on and so on.
Do you get the notion that this is a cleanup speech? This is a you can still have it all speech, even though I'm kind of conceding that logic and reason is the true message, yet you could still have it all? See, we just can't win. We cannot win. We just can't win. Just when it seems like we're going to win, we can't win. She just turned the whole bus around and went right back down the modern woman street. Right back down that one-way street because she just can't help it. Now I understand why her roots are all frazzled and she's not looking her best on here because she's been scratching at the roots, wondering how she was going to get the first part of this diatribe out and try to sound genuine. She almost got us. She almost got us. Let's finish it up.
And finally, of course, black women can partner and marry non-black men or black men with different levels of education. And still I stand by what I said. Most educated black women in this country desire to marry educated black men. And they also want to have children under the construct of that marriage. And the most opportune time to set up that structure is when you are surrounded by black men that are also pursuing their education. Last point. This is all about putting black women in best position to create that lifestyle. And nothing I'm saying is guaranteeing that y'all will stay married or even be happy. because nothing can guarantee such a thing. I'm only saying out loud what pockets of Black elite communities have passed down generationally for years. And I respect that it's hard to hear and know you don't have to agree. But I am happy that we, as educated Black women, are hearing each other, are seeing each other, and we're having the conversation.
Let's discuss last night's Republican presidential debate. Although former President Donald Trump was missing in action again, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy were among 7 candidates who took center stage to try to...
Let me stop that. I don't know where that came from. All right. Okay, so that was the second speech. Okay, now, shout out to Charles Faulkner. Here's the first one. That's this.
The reality that needs to be said out loud is that as Black men age, their desirability increases. Thus, their optionality of women is always expanding. And the exact opposite is true for Black women. As we age, doesn't matter how much money we accumulate, our degrees or professional accolades, the reality is that our marriage and partnership market value is depreciating with every passing year. No matter how good we look, no matter how fit we are, men are still seeing primarily our presumed dwindling fertility as a knock against us. And speaking of fertility, that is another reason that I want younger Black women to seek marriage and partnership in college or right after, if that's what they choose. Because the number of college-educated Black men is so low when compared to Black college-educated women that we're all going to be targeting the same small pool of men. And as we heard today, on most campuses, there's like 7 Black women students for every 1 Black man student. Y'all do the math. So here's my advice. If you are a young Black woman in college and you know in your heart and in your head that you want to prioritize family, I suggest that you simultaneously pursue that MRS degree right along with that BA or JD. Because the handful of Black college-age men that actually do desire to get married soon, and they do share that value system, and family is a priority for them too, y'all, that is an incredibly small pool, and it's shrinking as you get older. And by the time you reach my age, 40, you will be faced with different choices relating to life partnership and motherhood. Now, I'm not saying that delaying marriage or motherhood is a bad option, but it's one that comes with its own consequences. And our women deserve to know on the front end of their decision-making instead of on the back half.
Okay. So, you see how Eboni, basically, she can't just come out. Let me stop.
Janice, are you there?
At your service, sir.
Give me some of that dating foolishness.
Will do, sir.
I just wish
I'm screwed up.
the people never look the single woman as a strange kind of human.
I am screwing up, y'all. Forgive me. So, as you guys can see, she can't just come out and make a comment on anything and stick to her initial comments. She has to basically go out, make that initial comment, and she goes backs up on everything else that she said initially, which is pretty much clear and concise. And then somebody says something to her, and she gets pissed off about it, and she goes back and she chops it up. She chops it up. Okay? This shows that, her whole thought process is not very clean about this. About anything, this whole process. she's constantly going back on what she has to say. She knows that what she's doing is crap because she's constantly getting pushback on it. She's getting pushback on it from other females. The older females are telling her what she's talking about is crazy. The guys are telling her that what you're talking about is nonsense. She's watching our content, and our content is basically letting her know that what she's talking about is garbage. And I'm sorry to say it is. It's just garbage. And she's fast approaching cat lady. Cat lady territory. That's where she's going to be. She's going to be on the couch, 50 cats, sitting up there looking with that same smug face, scratching on her roots, rubbing her cats in a hoodie, some patterned socks on. A bunch of us outside looking through the window, calling her raggedy, That's where she's headed. Because, her thought process, for these people to be the most educated, and they're coming up with some uneducated conclusions. Totally uneducated conclusions and summations about data that it's just distasteful to me. And it's sad. It really is. It's sad and it's hard to watch. You keep coming out here, putting this out here on this tired network that you're on with that other nobody individual on there. What's his name? He used to be I've forgotten his name, and I'm glad I did. Now he's on there. He's advocating for the trans community and whatnot. He's supposed to be one of the most educated too, and he doesn't know the difference between a biological person, one sex to the other. So you guys will say anything just to stay in the good graces of whatever group that you guys want to be in. So you have no allegiance to truth or to facts or to reason. So with that being said, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I think I'm done with this one. And Ebony K will forever be a source of entertainment for us all. She will be like Bugs Bunny reruns into the far-flung future. Thanks for hanging out, and I sure appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys on the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Abuki's out.